Hi, this is Sarah with Sarah Setzer Feltworks, and today I'm going to show you how to do this 2D needle felted art kit that I just came out with. So right now we have 4 different designs. We have the lavender, we have this kind of succulent mandala. It's a little tricky, but it's a lot of fun. This nice cone flower, and this painted trillium. So any of these 4 kits are really easy to do. It's a great beginner craft. It's very relaxing once you get the hang of it, and I'm happy to share it with you today. So when you get your kit, it'll come in a bag like this, and it'll have little baggies full of different wool. So this wool that we're going to use is a merino cross, and it's batting. It's not roving this time, so it's this cool batting. It felt up really nice, and it doesn't leave as many little puncture marks as roving does. So you'll get your different colors. You'll get a hoop for the end. This foam, this is what you'll felt into, and your felting needles will be in the foam. So just look around the sides and you see 2 different needles in there. So you can just pull them out when you're ready and store them in there safely. You'll also have this is 100% pure wool, and I've ironed on the transfer lines. So it's really easy. It's kind of like paint by numbers. You can just fill in, so you don't have to do it by eye. You just go right over top of it. And don't worry about any little creases. By the time you're done working on it and stretching on the hoops, the creases should come out. If they don't, you can take, when it's finished, you can just take an iron to the back of it. I always recommend just doing the back. And then that should take out any creases that you have. So, and then the back inside will have the link on how to get to this video, so you found that. Alright. So when you're ready to begin, you're going to take both of the felting needles out. That way, they're pretty long, so if they're in here and you're poking, you could break the needle. So just take them out, put them on the side there. Now, it's really just as simple as you're going to lay your wool down onto the foam, wherever you want to start. And then you're just going to take some of the wool out. So you can start wherever you want. Usually actually start with the greenery first. So for this lavender kit here, and all these directions are pretty straightforward for all the different kits. I'll show you little tricks for each of them, but I'm gonna mostly do this lavender one, so then you can just see. But just take a little piece of fluff. I always start kind of with the darker stuff on the background and then build up color as you go, because you can always add more detail. And then it's as simple as... Look at me first. Okay. So I just took a little piece of this green fuzz, and you can kind of just make a line. And you can see how I'm holding the needle. I like to put my finger on top. This is just how I like to hold it. I think that it's the most comfortable for me. You definitely don't want to, you want to go straight up and down, or if you're starting to do shallow bits, you can go in from the side, but try and keep it straight up and down for now. And you don't have to go all the way. This is just 2D design, so you can just keep it light. So when you get to, you can see I'm done with this little green section, and the little flower bud starts here. So what I like to do is, if you have a long tail, you can either cut it, or you can just kind of hold here and pull it, and then it should set free. And then I'll just finish a little line, and then you'll be able to use the next bit, just like this. And you just keep using little bits. You can build it up as you go, but I generally like to do all the lines first, all the stems, and I kind of do them paint by number style. So I'll do like all the green stuff first, and then I'll go back and do different details. So if I get all the stems done, then you can go in and add a darker color. Okay. So I'm just keep going with this stem. And if you get to, so now I'm at the end of the foam here. Just lift it up. You'll see on the back here all the little marks going through. You don't have to worry about that. That's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. Doing the stem with this color. And then I like to add, you know, a little dark here, a little light there, just to add some depth and dimension. You don't want anything just one color. And you can always add or subtract as much as you need.
How would you subtract it?
So if you don't like something, it's really easy to just kind of pull out what you did. And then you just take it away. Or you can just fix it. So it's pretty forgiving. And you can get really detailed just using really small pieces. Really thin wisps. So you can get really involved in the color shading, if that's your thing. Now for these little flowers here, since the lavender has those little tiny buds, what I like to do, you can see on this one, is it's different. I do kind of alternating little sections. And you can see how I shaded in the different areas. So to get those little individual things, you can take a little piece of fluff here and kind of just work it with your fingers, get it in the shape that you want. And then you just kind of poke it down. You can actually use the needle to kind of guide the shape. And just use that tip to move it around. And you can either keep it kind of fluffy. So if you just do, well, don't put it in your mouth. As a bad habit that I have is putting the needle in my mouth. I always tell my students in class to, when you're not using your needles, keep them in the foam. So we don't want any accidents. So when you do these 2D needle felted art, you can keep them really flat if you want, or you can actually add a little relief. Like you can see how the wool is a little bit poofier in these ones. And I've had some students that do like great big relief. So one way to do that is, so you're gonna do, like say this was a bigger petal, you just kind of do the outside and go underneath. And then it would make it nice and poofy like that. So that's one thing you can do. So you can see on this little lavender bud right here, I just kind of did the outside, and it's really fluffy, where if I wanted to do this alternating purple, so there's 2 different purples included in this color. In all the kits, I try and give you a variety of different shades. So you can do some highlights, lowlights, so it's not just one color. And you can actually blend them too, I'll show you that. So if you want more of a flat look, you'd use a little bit less. Make the little shape that you want. And this guide, these lines on here, this trace mark, is just for your guide. If you want to go over it, you can. If you want to add a stem here, you know, it doesn't matter. So if you want it more flat, then you just poke it more. And you can add some green in there, the little leaves. And if you see there's a bunch of holes and you don't like them, what I like to do I mostly do this at the end, is actually I'll go in with the tip of the needle here, and just anywhere I see a hole that I don't like, I just kind of tease it out. And you can do that. So that's fun. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so for this Mandala succulent, we did a lot of shading within these different things. So a lot of different layering of the colors, which gives you much more depth and dimension and really makes things pop and gives you a variety of colors to play with. So what you do for that is I take, for instance, for these outside ones, I took this darker kind of teal, and then I took this lighter one, and you just pull little bits off, and then a little bit of purple on top. And when you get it where you like it, I literally just made it into, every once in a while you'll see like a white hair or a little piece of hay or something. Just remind you that the wool is from a happy sheep. So you can see how you can just make a little shape and then use your needle to go in, and it'll blend all those cool colors and give you the dark and the light and lowlights and highlights. And you just keep doing that around. For this one, I actually started on the outside and worked my way to the inside. You can certainly do it any way that you like. I find sometimes, I don't know, it's just up to you. I like to work with this kind of stuff if it's layering, like since this layer is on top of this one, I start from the outside and do it that way. It's just a little bit easier for me. So that's how you do some blending, which is fun. You can see for these coneflower ones, I also did blending a little bit with the pink. So I used the lighter pink, and then I added the darker pink and added some white highlights, and same thing for the top of this flower here. I did this darker, and then add lowlights and highlights. And for this trillium, you can get some texture for the center flowers there by really just taking a little bit of yellow. You can blend the two together if you want, and just make little balls with your hand. And then you just kind of stab around. And that keeps it ball shaped and poofy. So you can really add some different relief and whatnot to it. So a lot of this is just, you want to just try it and just really see how it goes. I could sit here and you guys could watch me do this whole thing, but I really think you need to just get your hands in it and just start felting it, and it'll make more sense as you do it. And you can experiment a bit. You know, if you want to add a little bit to the background with any extra wool that you have, you certainly can. If you want to go outside the design, add anything, absolutely do that. And hey, if you don't like this design, you can always do something on your own on the back. It's blank, and you can certainly do that. But I just want you to have fun. This is a fun beginner craft, so just make sure that you take care of your needles. Should one break, that's gonna happen. That's why I gave you two. Remember, just always try to go light. You don't have to stab with a lot of force. That's the main thing. And then don't, once it's in, wiggle it around, just keep going up and down. If you do from the side here, just really watch what you're doing. Make it pretty deliberate. Now, I'd say do this while watching TV. That was really loud. This whole video is gonna be like traffic. So if it breaks, if your needle breaks, just try and fish it out of the foam. You'll hear it. It makes a distinct snap sound. So just take this part out and you can kind of try and fish it out of here carefully. Usually you'll see it or feel it in there, and you can either pop it through this way or carefully dig it out that way. Because if you don't and you're going, the other one will break. Try not to stab yourself. If you're doing this while watching TV, make sure you keep your eyes on what you're felting and don't, it hurts. Just wash your hands afterwards. Usually it takes one good stabbing and then you're aware of it and you won't do it again. But that's pretty much it. I just want you guys to have fun and really try this craft out. I find this, even though I don't do a lot of needle felted work all the time that I sell, I like to teach it and I like to do it just kind of as a pastime. It's more of my kind of relaxing thing that I like to do. It's nice because I sit there, I don't have a lot of water or anything like that, so it's not messy. It's, you know, you can pick it up and come back and do whatever you need to do. So thank you and enjoy. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at info@sarasetzerfeltworks.com. And when you're done, send me an email or post it anywhere on social media, my Facebook or Instagram. I like to see everybody's work when they're done. And that's Facebook at Sara Setzer Feltworks, and same for Instagram, same handle. So thanks so much. All right, I almost forgot to tell you guys how to mount it. So when you're all finished, it's gonna look like this. It'll still be a square. I'd wait, don't cut it. Don't cut your square until you have it mounted. But what I like to do is the hoop has, you know, the inside and the outside. So I like to make the outside as big as you can. So make it as big as you can, just makes life a little easier. And then the inside hoop. And then it's just a matter of lining it up. It might take a couple tries. To get it where you like it. And then you just put the outside hoop kind of on top. And then just kind of even them up. And you can just pull this through, tighten it a little bit. So you can cut it. So once you get in the final spot, I just like to tighten it really tight, and then you can cut it, and you can actually cut it either flush or what I just started doing, and I actually don't have a needle, so I'll have to put in a picture, is you can take a needle and thread and do like a long stitch all the way around and then pull it tight, and all these ends will kind of go in. And then you could put felt on the back that you'd get at like Michael's or something and glue it, and then it'll be more finished. Or you can just cut it straight to the hoop. And then you'll just be able to hang it either from the back side here. You can put a little ribbon or a bow. And it's all done.